Hey, it's Michael. If you do speaking of any kind, you need to subscribe to the Angelo Caruso YouTube channel and also join the Facebook group known as Present Like a Pro. We'll get you ongoing ideas for leveling up your presentations and making the most of sales, leadership, whatever it is that you're presenting about. I want to talk to you right now about a practice technique that I've used through the years, and I got it from the music business. Some of you know that I came up through the music business in a pop band. We toured North America, the Caruso Brothers and I, opening for acts like Rick Springfield, Hart, Joan, Jett, etc. But before that, I actually learned how to play two musical instruments pretty well. I learned how to play trumpet when I was in school, and then later learned how to play bass guitar. Now, when I learned how to play trumpet, we played in a cadet band, we played in an orchestra, we played in other types of bands. And a trick that the orchestra leader had to isolate problem patches of music was called woodshedding. And he would take a certain section, he might even call out a bar, clarinets at bar 64, or he might say brass at 64. And everybody knew that at bar 64, we were going to practice that section of music, whether it was 4 bars, 8 bars, whatever, until we had it down. This in the music business is called woodshedding because you play this part over and over again and you isolate it, you break it down and you look at little passages and little inflections and you get everything just the way you want it. Now, speaking, of course, is a different animal. There's no place to hide in the speaking business. You can't hide behind, the trumpets. Everything's front and center. So I find it helpful to take sections of my presentation and woodshed them just like the good old days. So I don't have bar markers to call out to myself, I need to practice this section after bar 64, but I can practice two particular sections that give presenters problems. The first one is called the open, or the beginning. And one way to practice is this, and I think the beginning should get extra practice because a lot of things are happening at the beginning of a presentation. For one thing, your central nervous system may be under siege more at the beginning of your presentation than any other time. But this idea of giving the attention, the beginning of the presentation, extra attention will pay off for you almost every time. So one way to do this is called the poor man's recording technique. You actually call your own voicemail and do the beginning of your presentation into the voicemail. So this gives you a couple of advantages. One, you're practicing the introduction of your presentation many, many more times than, say, you practice the middle. The second benefit of doing the poor man's recording technique is that you can play back the recording of yourself in your voicemail so that you can hear how it sounds, right? And go to work on it. I liked how I began. I didn't like the second sentence so much. Didn't finish with any energy. There's all kinds of ways that you can look at this and analyze it and improve. The second way that you can use woodshedding to improve your presentations is the close itself, or what we call in the business the call to action, or CTA. Very important in the sales trade. Now, in the Zoom Your Sales online sales course, I teach clients how to perfect a 10-word close. Now, 10 words is long enough to actually memorize. And if you're going to get to 10 words, you want to make sure you're accenting certain words, you're pausing before certain words, you have perfect tone when you do the 10-word close. So that's an example of isolating a certain section of your presentation for maximum impact every single time. These are woodshedding tricks that you can use to sharpen your presentations, everybody. I hope you take advantage of them. And in comments, do me a favor. Mention your most needed area to perfect. Is it the beginning of your presentation when things are a little sloppy sometimes? Is it the end of the presentation that needs to be sharper? And above all, remember there's one section of your presentation that you cannot woodshed, and that's the ever tricky Q&A session. Thanks very much, everybody. Good luck speaking, and I'll see you soon.